Hello there. At some point in life, all of us lose courage. There are moments when our confidence disappears completely. Sometimes we stay silent, even when our heart wants to speak. Sometimes we agree to things we never wanted, just because we are afraid people may dislike us. And honestly, many people mistake kindness for weakness. But confidence is not about becoming rude. It is not about hurting others. Real confidence is learning how to respect yourself while still being kind. And to understand that better, here is the story of a young girl named Kiana. Kiana was a college student, a simple girl, quiet, polite, and soft-spoken. She was the type of person who smiled at everyone, the type who apologized even when things were not her fault, the type who could never say no. Whenever someone asked for help, Kiana agreed immediately. Can you complete this assignment for me? Can you write notes for me? Can you help me with my presentation? And every single time, she said yes, not because she wanted to, but because deep inside, she feared something. She feared that if she refused, people would stop liking her. She feared becoming lonely. She feared confrontation. So instead of disappointing others, she disappointed herself. At first, Kiana believed those people were truly her friends. She laughed with them in the cafeteria. She sat with them in class. She shared her food, her notes, her time, and her energy. But slowly, without realizing it, she became someone they could use. Some classmates dumped their unfinished work on her. Some only called her when they needed help. Some ignored her completely after getting what they wanted. And behind her back, they laughed at her. They mocked the clothes she wore. They made jokes about her appearance. They whispered about how easy it was to make Kiana do anything. But Kiana never knew, not until one ordinary morning. The sky was cloudy that day as Kiana walked toward her college campus. She held her books tightly against her chest while the cold breeze brushed past her face. As she walked near the corridor outside the classroom, she heard familiar voices, her friends. At first, she smiled softly, about to walk toward them, but then she stopped. She's so easy to fool. Just ask Kiana, she'll do it. She dresses so weird sometimes, and she actually thinks we like her. The girls burst into laughter. Kiana froze. For a second, the entire world around her felt silent. Her fingers tightened around her books. Her heartbeat became heavy. She stood there listening, hoping maybe she misunderstood, but she didn't. Every word hit her like a stone. The same people she trusted, the same people she cared for, were making fun of her behind her back. Kiana quietly walked away before they noticed her. That evening, she locked herself inside her room. The tears she held back all day finally poured out. She sat on the floor beside her bed, crying silently into her hands. "What did I do wrong?" she whispered. She replayed every memory in her mind, every favor, every late-night assignment, every time she ignored her own exhaustion to help them. And yet, none of it was enough. For the first time in her life, Kiana realized something painful. Being kind does not mean allowing people to hurt you. The next day, college continued like normal, at least for everyone else. But inside Kiana's heart, something had changed. As soon as class began, her so-called friends approached her again. "Kiana, can you finish this homework for me?" "And mine too. Please, you're so good at it." Kiana looked at them quietly. Part of her wanted to confront them immediately. Part of her wanted to scream, "Why did you talk about me like that?" But another part of her was afraid of rejection, afraid of awkwardness, afraid of standing up for herself. So once again, "Okay," she whispered softly. The girl smiled and walked away casually. But this time, Kiana didn't feel good after helping. She felt empty. That afternoon, while sitting alone near the college garden, Kiana began thinking deeply. When did I become like this? She thought. She realized that in trying to avoid hurting others, she had been hurting herself every single day. She became a people pleaser, not because she was weak, but because she lacked confidence. She was afraid that saying no would make people hate her. And because of that fear, she accepted humiliation silently. A few weeks later, the professor announced presentation day. Every student had to present their homework on stage. The moment Kiana heard it, her stomach tightened. Public speaking terrified her. Even standing in front of people made her nervous. For days, anxiety filled her mind. What if I forget my words? What if everyone laughs? What if I embarrass myself? And sadly, those fears grew stronger because of her classmates. Presentation day finally arrived. One by one, students walked onto the stage. Then, Kiana. Her name echoed through the classroom. Her hands immediately became cold. Slowly, she stood up. She could already hear whispers from the back. Some students giggled quietly. As Kiana walked toward the stage, her heart pounded so loudly she could barely think. And then she heard it. Laughter. Her friends were laughing at her nervousness. At that moment, Kiana felt something inside her break. Not sadness, not fear, something else. A realization. She was tired. Tired of being scared. Tired of being mocked. Tired of shrinking herself so others could feel bigger. Standing there on the stage, looking at the crowd, Kiana made a silent promise to herself. I cannot continue living like this anymore. That night changed her life. Kiana began working on herself slowly. Not overnight, not magically, little by little. She started by making small promises to herself. I will speak clearly today. I will maintain eye contact. I will stop insulting myself in my own mind. Every evening she practiced in front of the mirror. At first her voice trembled. She felt awkward, but she kept going. Again, and again, and again. She watched videos about confidence. She improved her posture. She learned how body language affects the mind. Most importantly, she stopped comparing herself to others. Instead of thinking, she is prettier than me, he is smarter than me, she began asking herself, how can I become a better version of myself? She also fought against the negative voice inside her head. The voice that said, you are embarrassing. You are weak. You are not enough. Whenever those thoughts appeared, Kiana slowly replaced them. I am improving. I deserve respect. My voice matters too. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, Kiana began changing, not just outside, but inside. The next presentation day arrived. This time, Kiana walked toward the stage differently. She was still nervous. But confidence does not mean having no fear. Confidence means moving forward despite the fear. As she stood on stage, some students waited for her to fail again. But Kiana took a deep breath. She remembered her mirror practice. She focused on the presentation, not on the people. And then she began speaking. Clear, calm, confident. Minute after minute, her voice became stronger. The classroom slowly became silent. Even the students who once laughed at her stared in shock. This was not the same Kiana. She explained every point perfectly. Her body language was strong. Her eye contact was confident. By the end of the presentation, the entire classroom applauded, and for the first time in a long time, Kiana smiled proudly at herself. Not because others approved of her, but because she finally overcame the fear that once controlled her. After class ended, her so-called friends approached her again. "Kiana, can you help us with homework? Can you finish this for us?" The old Kiana would have agreed immediately, but this time was different. Kiana looked at them calmly. Her heartbeat was fast. Her hands slightly trembled. Because saying no after a lifetime of saying yes is never easy. For a moment, fear returned. What if they hate me? What if they leave me? But then she remembered everything. The humiliation, the pain, the sleepless nights, the tears. Kiana straightened her posture, took a deep breath, and said one simple word. "No." Silence. The girl stared at her in disbelief. "What?" Kiana looked directly at them. "No," she repeated confidently. Not angrily, not rudely, just firmly. For the first time in her life, Kiana stood up for herself. Her friends couldn't believe it. Some rolled their eyes and walked away. Some became irritated. But Kiana felt something she had never felt before. Relief, peace, freedom. Because deep inside, she finally understood something important. People who only stay when you obey them were never truly your friends. After that day, Kiana remained kind. She still helped people. She still cared about others. But now, she understood the difference between kindness and self-respect. She helped those who genuinely needed support. But when people tried to use her, she stood her ground. And little by little, Kiana became stronger. Not because the world changed, but because she changed. So if you are someone who struggles to say no, if you are someone who fears judgment, if you feel nervous, insecure, or afraid to stand up for yourself, remember this: confidence is not built in one day. It grows slowly, through small promises, small improvements, small moments where you choose yourself. And no, standing up for yourself is not selfish. Learning to protect your peace is not wrong. So don't misunderstand confidence as arrogance. Instead, learn how to overcome the situations that weaken you. Because sometimes, the most powerful word a person can learn to say is simply no.